Okay, in this video we're going to go through the week 3 homework because the focus is on CAS. Some of you will be able to answer these questions or draw these graphs without the use of CAS calculator, but you really need to get used to how to do things on your calculator so it's a lot quicker. So I'm going to focus just on CAS for this whole homework sheet. And just make sure you can also do it by hand, but the focus for this homework sheet is just using the CAS calculator. So for each, row in this worksheet, you have a set of equations, so 2 equations. You have to show where the 2 lines intersect, and also the axes intercepts, and then state where the 2 lines intersect. So we'll do that on CAS. So I'm going to get the calculator up now. Okay, so we're just going to first, we'll do graphing in a sec. So to find out where they intersect, basically we just can solve the set of 2 equations. So the first one was y equals 3, and I forget what the second one was, 2x minus 4. Okay, so y equals 2x minus 4. Okay, so we just write the 2 equations like that with and in the middle. There are other ways of solving them. I find this the most straightforward way. Here you have x equals 7 on 2 and y equals 3. So that's where they intersect. Now, I've got this as a fraction. If you prefer to have it as a decimal, you can just re-enter it and press Control Enter, and it'll put it as a decimal. So you can see here just above the enter sign you have 2 squiggly lines. That means to approximate it to a decimal. Another way you can do it is go to number, convert to decimal, or approximate to fraction if you wanted to go the other way around. Just one last thing you can do, if you prefer to not do that every time you get it, you can go to your settings, document settings, and change it from auto into approximate, and you will get decimal answers and not fractions. I think it's better to just keep it as fractions for now, but it's a personal preference as to whether you want to go to approximate mode. If you are planning on going into methods, usually we advise you to have it in exact mode, and if you go into further into approximate mode, but I think just leaving it in in auto for now is the best. Okay, so we have the intersection is 3.5 and y equals 0. Remember, we also have to find the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. So let's go back to our graph. The first one, y equals 3. Hopefully by now you know that y equals, when it's just y equals a number, it's just a horizontal line. So this one is a horizontal line going through y equals 3. So if I just get my pen up, we go to, we go to 3. So I'm going to have that as 3. And it's going to be hard for me to draw a straight line. Actually, we'll do it in a different colour. Let's do it in green, just so we can see it compared to, now you should be using a ruler. Obviously, it's a bit harder for me to use a ruler on a tablet. Try to get into the habit, if you're doing more than one line, to actually label what they are. You can see I've also got arrows on the end of my lines, even though that doesn't look like an arrow, but it is an arrow. My intercept, my y-intercept is 3, and there's no x-intercept, okay, because it's parallel to the x-axis. Now drawing the other line, okay, 2x minus 4. Okay, the y-intercept is -4, so I'm going to put that on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is there. I'm just going to write -4 here. Now your x-intercept is when y equals 0, so you can do that on the CAS calculator if you like. So we can, whoops, what am I doing? Where are you? There we go. So, and that type, sorry that the writing's going to be on there. So we just do solve, remember we let y equals 0, so 0 equals 2x minus 4, and we're solving for x. So x equals 2. So I'll go back to my graph. X equals 2. Oops, let's get the pen, the arrow. X equals 2. Okay, I'm only doing that because it says show all axes intercepts. But another way you could sketch this graph is to use the gradient. So the gradient is 2, so you go up 2 across 1, up 2 across 1. We also know that the point of intersection is 3.53. Okay, so if we do 3.5, it's halfway between 3 and 4, so it's here. Okay, and I'm going to write that on here. Okay, because if you have a point of intersection, it's always a good idea to, well, you should, it's not a good idea, it's something that you should be doing. You should draw that point of intersection. Now, to draw a straight line, all you need is 2 points, and I could use my y-intercept and my x-intercept. I could use a gradient, so if I use that, it would also be on the line. But you can see that if I was, it's really hard to do this, so just assume, oh, it's not too bad. Okay, there's our straight line. Okay, so those arrows just indicate that it keeps going. Y equals 2x minus 4. Now, that's what it looks like just by drawing it. You can also sketch them on your calculator. So I'm just going to clear it now because when I get the calculator screen up, you're going to have that writing on top of it. Okay, so the good thing about your calculator is you can do some copying and pasting. So if you wanted to, you couldn't be bothered retyping things, you can highlight it, okay, and just press Control, C, just like you do on your computer, and that'll copy it. You should actually just be doing the 2x minus 4, and I'll explain that in a second. Your graph, you can go from here, but I prefer, and if you were, you just press Tab to get a new equation. The same thing happens if you press this graph. Okay, so it looks slightly different, but they're pretty much the same thing. Now notice up here, and it's probably, if you're going to forget this, this is the same as y equals, because when we get into higher levels of maths, and these calculators are designed for higher levels of maths, we don't call it y equals anymore, we call it a function of x, and that's why there's an F there. So the first equation is y equals 3, so I don't write the y equals, I just write the 3. So if you have written that, the calculator, if I press it, it's not going to draw it anyway, so it doesn't like it. So I press Tab, I can go back to it. Oops, no, sorry. Deleted the wrong equal sign. So y equals 3, and there it is. You can see that it's my axis is going up by 1, so there's the y-intercept at 3. Now to draw the other graph, just press Tab again. Okay, and their second one was 2x minus 4, and there it is. I can see that it's going through x equals 2 and y equals -4. And if you wanted to know this point, you can easily do it not just by solve, but also from Analyze Graph. So I went to Menu, Analyze Graph, and then Intersection. And your sliding line, you just move along, and you see down here it says lower bound. So that just means we go to the left of the intersection, you press enter, and then you go to the right, and it comes up with intersection. You can actually see the point here, okay, 3.5,3. So that's another way you can do it. If you don't want to use solve, if you prefer to graph it, you can graph it straight away and then sketch it from it. All right, let's have a look at the second one. Actually, let's do a harder one. Let's go down here because I know these ones aren't in the form y equals mx plus c. All right, so let's do the very last one, okay, because the last ones always get neglected. We have 2x equals y minus 4 and 3x plus 5y equals 15. Now, I would never, if I had my calculator, rearrange that without the calculator. Okay, it's quite time consuming. So the first one is 2x equals y minus 4. Let's test my memory. So solve. Oh, I've forgotten already. should have a copy of this sheet. 2x equals y minus 4. Okay. 2x equals y minus 4. Now, I want it to be in the form y equals, so I'm going to do comma y, and then it comes up as 2x plus 4. Yeah, let's just do the other one while we're here. So 3x plus 5y equals 15. 3x plus 5y equals 15, and then again, comma y. Okay, it's irrelevant whether it's like that. So some of you might want to then expand it. If you want to do that, you can go to Menu, Algebra, Expand, and then you just highlight it and press Enter again. That might be still a little bit confusing for you to understand, but basically it always puts a negative in the middle. So even though we're used to seeing it in the form y equals mx plus c like we have here, here it is in the form y equals c plus mx. Okay, so your y-intercept is 3 and the coefficient of x is negative 3 on 5, which is your gradient. But when we're just sketching this, you don't really need to expand this. All right, now if we go up to our first graph, and this is the good thing about the CAS calculator, because you can highlight it and see you've got the shift key over here. Okay, so the shift will help you. I'm only going to copy the 2x plus 4, so Control C for copy. I'm going to, we can go back to our previous graph one if you like, and we can just press Tab to get that up and scroll up to delete what we've already got in there. Okay, so they've disappeared now, and Control V will bring out the 2x plus 4 that I had. Okay, so if we're sketching this, okay, I can see that my y-intercept is there at 4 and my x-intercept is at 2. Let's go back to the calculator. Now you can either just use your cursor, or you can go Control arrow and you'll go to the next page. All right, so you can delete that. We just put that there to copy it. So let's copy this one now. So remember, we want to copy everything except for the y equals. So highlight it, Control C. All right, go back to your your graphing screen, press Tab. This time we're doing the second function, or the second graph. Okay, and there it is. Okay, and this one is also easy to read off the graph, so that means we don't have to do any further calculating. If it was halfway or whatever, you would have to probably calculate it. So I can see the the y-intercept is 3, and what do we got? The x-intercept is 1, 2. We can just move this out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, easy to read off. This intersection point, not so much easy to read. So go to intersection. Remember, to the left of the intersection for lower bound, and then to the right for the intersection. And there's your intersection point there. Okay, so you can easily graph it that way. If I go back, I can also use solve. So for those of you who like solve, you can just do solve. Put your first equation and the second equation, comma x. It's probably going to put it in fraction, which is fine. I'm just going to scroll up here. You could keep it in the original form or in the form that it changed it to. Okay, so you'd get the same answer either way. So -5 on 13 and 42 on 13. Remember, if you want them as decimals, just press enter and then Control enter again, and there you go, those fractions as decimals. All right, I think that's probably enough for you to be able to do the other, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. Okay, The emphasis of this worksheet is using CAS, so make sure you're confident using the CAS calculator. But if you're planning on moving, especially into methods, you should be able to do all of these questions also by hand.